Welcome back to another episode of Follow Your Dreams with Coach and Lo. It's your boy, Lo. Coach, what's going on, brother?
Man, how are you, brother? I'm blessed, man. Blessed and highly favored. What's going on with you, man? I know you've been grinding, man. I'd be able to keep up with you. The phone calls get shorter, text messages.
Yeah.
Get one sentence lines now. You know.
Hey, man. Massive action. You know, I've been putting that to practice, and I can say that, you know, you really got to cut out that small talk sometimes, man. Unfortunately, I mean, it's nothing personal, but it's all business, and it's not just, you know, it's not just between us, but I mean, in general, when you guys are out there and you just grinding, taking care of business. I mean, I had about I didn't name it off the top of my head, but I probably had about 10 events within the last 2 weeks, some major events. So, you know, been very active, taking a lot of massive action, man, and just really grinding, just really focusing. I also had to kind of go back to my roots, like we talked about refocusing the other day. I want to make sure I get my time in prayer and meditation, also with reading. So I kind of fell off my one book a week and kind of diving back into that, Coach, man. So I got this vacation going on, and I'm able to indulge in some books. Got about 4 books that I'm going to be rotating in the next couple of days. But man, yeah, everything's been working out, man. Like you said, blessed, highly favored, excited for what's to come in the future. Had a couple of different board meetings. We got a lot coming to Brevard County, and I cannot wait to take this thing onto another level, which I'll probably be rolling it out probably towards the end of the year, where we start bringing this thing state to state. So, yeah, man, a lot going on. I saw that you had a successful week as well, man. What's happening up there in Virginia?
Man, so we had our first cookout, man. So we was in North Carolina, and we built up a mentoring program called Man Up. We had our staple, and it was a cookout for the young men. And it grew and it grew, and it grew to the point where we had guys that had graduated from the program and were in college. They used to come back and speak, and so I moved up here, and you know, I came in slow. I didn't want to step on nobody's toes, but I just had that calling and that feeling like, Coach, it's that time. It's that time to go ahead and get in that community, and so we planned it. Me and Mr. S. We planned a good cookout, and we had just tremendous support, man, from some of the guys that I went to school with at Hampton. They came all over the place. We had Daryl Harris. We had him on the show. He came down, played ball with the kids. We had Daniel Brooks. He came from Roanoke. He drove 3 hours. Had a good friend of mine, Quentin Myers. He flew in. He's a pilot. He actually spoke to my kids on Friday during the school day. Then our keynote speaker was Michael Smith, who's a master sergeant in the Army. He's the only above elbow amputee that's active military, and so he was just sharing his story with the kids. And I grew up with him. He actually shared how you know, he was all-state basketball and football, and you know, but he was a knucklehead, and so he didn't have that guidance, and he shared his story with the kids, which was powerful, man, because it was powerful because they looked at him differently. You only had one arm, but once he started telling them his workout regimen, he actually does the Ironman. And he was saying, you know, before he came to speak, he had just finished swimming about 3 miles and stuff, preparing for the Ironman competition. And the kids just lit up, and it was just a great time, great fellowship. Played some ball, fed them, everybody ate good, and we're just looking to do something major in this area. And just a great time, man, just a great time. And we got a lot of positive feedback. The Army from Fort Lee, shout out to Fort Lee, they came out, did some team building activities with the kids, so creating partnerships with them, and just gearing up, man, just gearing up to make an impact and change the lives of as many people, youth, parents, as I can, as we can. And that's what we did this weekend. So it was a total success. And one thing we'll say, it got something else, man. Oh, yeah. So the website, man, the website should be up this week. It should be up ready this week. You guys can visit the new website. We got a new look, dreamchaseracademy.net. We got a new look, new sleek, professional look. out there to keep everybody engaged, motivated, and inspired. Low, so it's just been a process, man, and I'm blessed and to be able to be on this journey with you and to look at your personal growth and hear about a lot of the things that you're doing, man. And so that's what we got. But I want to take the show to another level because I just talked about fitness and Mike talked about a lot about that. But we have a guest on the phone today, another graduate from Hampton University. We know we love reaching out to our HU family and the great things and we always talk about relationships built. But we have on the show today Mr. Lance Miller. Lance, if you out there, say what up to our listeners.
Hey, great evening, powerful people. How you feeling?
Good. He's out there loud and clear. And
welcome to the show, brother.
Yep,
Thank
another
you.
HU family, man. Another HU. Hey, Lance, I know me and you, man, we shared the same major, and that's where we met, and that's where we developed a relationship, and we stayed in contact, man. You got me to purchase my first pit bull in college. We were both dog lovers, if you remember that. We were both dog lovers, man, and so some commonality there. We love sports and able to build that relationship and keep it going, man, but definitely proud to have you on the show, man, and actually grateful, man, that you're able to, your busy schedule, and give us some nuggets for this week that we can follow. So while the listeners on there, just give them a brief story. Let's say we start from maybe your junior year in college and your decision-making process and some of the things that inspire you and motivate you to, man, just go after what you want in life, man. Follow your dreams. What transpired in your life to transition you and start you along that journey?
Perfect. So junior year at Hampton University, as Jacob just mentioned, we were both health and physical education majors. I was actually in a class with Daryl himself and I, and they were better than me at almost any game that Miss Bird brought up. You know, she teaches games on the fly, and, you know, they so athletic, the running joke was I could never keep up, and it was true. Speedball was a demon of mine, and, but we all got out of the class. We're all fairly athletic individuals. But my decision-making process junior year was to survive. I did what I had to. We learned a lot. We have some excellent examples at Hampton, instructors that kind of help us to survive. Office hours are always open. So I was the kid that beat down the doors and built the relationships with the teachers, just in case, maybe I did underperform on an exam, on a knowledge-based exam. They give me an extra project, kind of curtailed to my craft and what I loved, which is physical activity and getting moving. I'd ace that and I'd be able to get out of the course. So, developing relationships is huge. I'm very, very grateful for the relationship Jacob and I have developed to see, this young man blossom and develop into the young man he's becoming, or has became, and from jokes at the back of the class, to now leading tribes, that's powerful, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. And honestly, I taught my first 8 years out of Hampton. I taught, and the first job I had was teaching high school. I was 21 years old, and my oldest student was 19. It wasn't that much of an age difference, but, thankfully, I taught in the same area I grew up in, so I knew a lot of my students' uncles, aunts, and, cousins and things like that. So I had different outlets and different relationships that were forged prior to me even entering into the job. So it was fun. Kind of recalling old times with parents and students I had. But I will say that without relationships, that job wouldn't have been as fun. Life wouldn't have been as fun without relationships. Everything I've done since that initial teaching job, including, me receiving my master's at American University, starting it at Texas Southern University, has been built on relationships. I never experienced, I won't say that. I've never experienced being down long because of the relationships that I've cultivated. So fast forward to Texas, started my pedagogy master's there, but then accepted a teaching position in Tangipahoa, Louisiana, with some special needs students, and had the privilege to learn from them. And then I ended up right here in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., teaching health and physical education to middle school students. And through that, my passion was found, which was instructing physical activity courses for all age groups, in all physical, in all physical forms. So I can instruct the obese individual down to the undersized individual. That's my passion, and that's what I love doing. That's what I'm going for, a healthy U.S.
And that's amazing, especially with, today's society, man, just really fighting obesity. A lot of us tend to, just go with the flow. We're always on the go. I have a roommate who's studying in sports nutrition. He's also in physical therapy, and you got to be disciplined. Talk about the discipline action. I mean, you told us you didn't share with the audience about your success and why you got to your passion or how you got there. So, you kind of shared with me briefly about your success in your weight loss transformation, excuse me. But, why is it important for you to basically teach, why do you want a better U.S.? I mean, in health-wise, I think that, just explain why it's so important, and how eating right is going to basically connect with how you're living and how your happiness and how you're able to get up and go about those things. Me, I still carry, my football weight. And so I know that when I'm training right and I'm eating right, my mind's working a lot better. Physically, I'm feeling better. I wake up, I'm energized. I get a good night's sleep. And every time that I tend to eat bad, I realize I'm sluggish. I'm not getting the type of sleep that I want. My body starts aching. So for someone who's out there, going out there and getting it, someone who's making, leaving from one job to their passion, et cetera, why is it important for them to make sure that not only are they working out, but eating healthy?
Absolutely, Lo. So I had the privilege of losing 55 pounds about 2 years ago, and I've been able to sustain that weight loss ever since. I went to the doctor one day. I was 28 years old. Doctor told me he was going to put me on medication for a bunch of stuff that I didn't think you were supposed to have until you were in your 60s or 70s. And I was adamant about not taking any of those things, really against it. We actually had an assignment in my master's program, which was to do research about a weight loss company and, kind of prove the point of either, whether or not it's good for the human body and soul and spirit, or if it's not, for a class I had. And I did the research on Herbalife Nutrition, a company that's been around since the mid-'80s. So I had the opportunity to understand how it worked and why it works so well with a clean eating diet. So I figured I'd be my own trial. Put myself on my Herbalife nutrition plan. Before Herbalife, I was lazy. I needed a nap in the middle of the day, really lethargic. I was annoying to be around. And honestly, man, just putting the right things in your body. That healthy meal replacement shake have all the vitamins, minerals, micro, macro, and phytonutrients you can need in a healthy meal. Blasting myself with 2 of those a day. Protein-based snacks in between. So protein and a vegetable. I'm not talking about any cream, any dairy. Nuts are cool. Fruits cool, depending on how physically active you are to burn off those sugars that we find in fruits. But a protein and a vegetable is a healthy snack. So I loaded up on, my cabbage, my broccoli, my mixed vegetables, my greens, and baked fish, baked chicken, tofu, things like that. And then I had one colorful meal at the end of the day. I would just simply add a starch, a carb to a snack. And I was eating, every 2 to 3 hours more than I was eating when I was overweight, and I lost 55 pounds doing that. Got to the point I got so small I went home and my mother told me she didn't recognize me. I put on some healthy weight by simply, running sprints, anaerobic activities, getting my push-ups, my dips, my crunches in, the discipline, in the morning, in the evening. I'm not a real weight room head. I don't touch a weight. But it's really about discipline. It's about understand. See, I understand I want to be here to see my grandkids' kids, my grandkids' grandkids. And I want to still be able to be physically active with them. I want to be able to run with them. I'm going to have a head full of gray hair. I want to be physically active. In order to do that, we have to put in action today and prepare for the results we want to see years from now. So, it's not about running a marathon twice a year. It's about walking a mile every day. It's not about getting in the gym and bench pressing 350 10 times. It's about doing 10 push-ups in the morning. You know what I'm saying? 10 in the afternoon, 10 in the evening. That's life vitality, in my opinion. So lost 55 pounds with Herbalife and still doing it. And then a bunch of people naturally asked me, hey, man, what are you doing? And I never wanted to be that person, right, to sell anything, and I ain't selling nothing. I ain't selling no shakes. I just keep this for myself. But I learned that if you keep a blessing to yourself, God, pardon me, I hate to take it here, but whoever you pray to, but our Father has the ability to take blessings away if you don't share them.
And, hey, man, hold on, man. This is a faith-based network, so feel free, my brother. Yeah, embrace it, baby. Let's let it, share His glory, baby.
I appreciate that, Lo. I appreciate the green light. But, if we don't share our blessings, God will definitely take them from you. We can't be stingy with the knowledge or the physical attributes that we are given as gifts, from birth. And so I took it on, started sharing. My mother, of course, was my first plan member. She down 20 pounds. Grandmother, uncle, they're all getting their own health results, whether it's an increase in energy, losing weight. And I thought to myself, man, I'm making great passive income, but I do this for free. This is my passion. And then I got around some people that I work with that do it full time, that wake up and do their passion full time. And at that time, I was so closed-minded that I didn't think that was possible. I thought you had to own a business, Of course, you have, this is a form of owning a business, but I thought you had to show up somewhere, 7, 8, 8:30 in the morning, suited and booted, which you still do in certain respects. But I'm talking about gentlemen who make, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month simply going into recreation centers and putting people on scales and reading their BMI, their muscle, their fat, their visceral fat, and giving them options, putting their health back in their hands and taking it out of the hands of people that may not have their best interest at hand. I don't want to step on any toes on the show. But once that was identified that I can do this and earn some income, my passion earns income, it was such a freeing idea, man. It was radical. I began to earn some really, really good passive income, and I still do. And, yesterday I taught my third boot camp to the community. We had over 100 people there. And it felt right. It felt so right. It's like, man, I would do this at 5 a.m. I do this at 2 in the morning. I do this any time throughout the day. I do it for free. You know what I'm saying? When you find something that you will do at any given moment of the day, all out to your fullest potential, that's your passion. Go with that. And I had a connecting moment, and it was almost emotional. I'm getting paid well to do what I love, y'all. Find your passion. When your passion is specific to you, we all have gifts. God placed gifts on each of us. Find yours. and I found mine, and I'm blessed to live it out every day, brother.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I wanted to talk a little bit about, you shared a little bit about your faith and whatnot, and when you start to hear things like, I'm going to put you on this medication, and you start to get that fear of death, a lot of people wait till the last minute to do something. So obviously you had no choice. You made a decision that right now I'm about to go and make this change because I have a purpose, I have a reason. I want to see my great-grandchildren and whatnot. When did you decide? You started to get your mother, you started getting involved with the business side of things as an entrepreneur, especially selling a product like Herbalife, where people are like, well, I knew there was a Body by Vi. They had all these different shakes. So the product that you sell is very popular, but amongst the popularity, not many people are accustomed to buying into that product. We've had a couple different entrepreneurs, and we like to talk about that, getting unstuck. How can I get out of this rut? Because when you're not selling the product, or you have a down month, or you're not hitting your sales budget, I guess what are some of the, if it's scripture, or is it motivational tapes by Eric Thomas? What is that one thing that you go to, like your go-to, that gets you inspired, gets you motivated, so you can continue to get up and do what you love to do?
Great question, Lo. It's definitely more than one thing. Prayer, meditation. I start every day out. I have a prayer partner. I have a couple prayer partners. We stay on a prayer line. I like to meditate. I try to give myself 5 to 10 minutes every morning, just to concentrate on my breathing, clear my mind. And I have a thing, man. It's called personal development. You mentioned Eric Thomas, E.T., he gets me there. If you claim the passion, I dare you not go after it every day. And I've claimed my passion. So, I'd be selling the world short if I don't offer what it is that has been placed on me as a gift. I just got out of Transformation Tuesday with the community. Having a community is huge. I have a community. It's called Fit Nation. It's in Beltsville, Maryland. If you're ever in town, please hit me on IG, Facebook. I'll definitely give you the address. Come through. But all of the leaders of the community, we meet on Tuesday, and we dissect a personal development video. Tonight, it was Best Motivational Speech Compilation, Chase Your Dreams. And I'd like to just go over a couple things, if you don't mind, gentlemen, that I jotted down that kind of answer the question. So I understand that the war has begun. Once you declare a passion, the universe is going to put obstacles in your way to see if you're about this life, to see if you're really about what it is you say you're about. The war has begun, but the beauty of the war is between you. It's you versus you.
Right.
So every time you have the option, every second, every minute, you have the option to do something different than the second before. So say if I do have one of those defeating thoughts or a defeating moment, I consciously now catch myself, hey, that was counterproductive to my goals, my passion, my vision, and my dreams. How can I change that? And I then literally changed the thought process of that negative thought into a positive one, change the talisman from the NMA side, negative mindset, to the PMA side, positive mindset, and move on about my day. So I'll put it in an example. I'll walk past a person who might appear overweight, and I'm thinking, I'm in my head already. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want them to think I'm just targeting them when I ask them, hey, can you come to a boot camp? But that might be what they was waiting for. That invitation might be the invitation that saved their life. The least I could do is offer what I have as an offering and give them the opportunity to make a decision. I did that today even. And the thing with, personal development and finding your passion and chasing it, it's a day-by-day choice. No day is the same. You might have similar instances, similar situations, but every day you wake up, you got to make a decision to go after what it is you believe in.
You got to make that decision.
Make a decision. Decide, commit, and resolve. That's the point in which change happens.
Say that again. Say that again, Lance. My listeners probably missed that.
I'm sorry. Decide, commit, and resolve. That's the point in which change happens. Once you make a decision, commit to it, and have the resolve to see it through no matter what. Any change you want will happen at that point. And most people think success is a straight line. You know, I go to school, I go to high school, get a degree, go to college, get a degree, get a great job, pay bills, have a white picket fence, have a family. It's not a straight line. Success is when someone decides they want something and accept the line getting squiggly. You got to accept the growth opportunities between your desires and you seeing them through. We don't have problems. We got opportunities of growth. And you can't see it through until you decide to grow through the process. So just accepting that, you know, when I extend this olive branch of health called Herbalife, some people are going to compare it to other things. Some people are going to compare it to bad instances, bad situations. But all I can do is extend the olive branch that I took a hold of. Right. Share the opportunity that saved my life. What you do with the information, that's your decision.
Right.
And I respect your decision. You know, it's about respect. Respecting one another's decisions and still moving forward with the resolve to live out your dreams.
And I want to piggyback off what you said, man, about making that decision. You see, I probably when I got out of grad school, man, and, you know, when you living, you single, and living, I had a roommate at the time, you know, a full salary job. Really, all I had was student loans. And so for me, it took me a while to really take life serious, man, because, I mean, I had whatever I wanted, you know. And it would be nothing to go out and spend, you know, eating nice dinners, you know, 3 or 4 times a week. But, man, it got old real fast. And for me, man, I just wanted more. And so I had to make the decision that, you know, not only did I want to hustle, but I've been hustling, you know, I call it my hustle. I always had, people call it side jobs or whatever, but I had that business mindset. I wanted to create something big, Lance and Low, and so I started an event planning business, and it started real small, and I was doing AAU basketball tournaments, and I ended up having my own organization, me and the guy who's actually an agent now down in Houston. At the time we were young, and we started it from guys who could play ball, but nobody wanted them on their team. So we had to finance these trips and these tournaments. And so we started doing these tournaments, man, and it took off, you know, and then I turned it into a business, you know, and then the money used was for the boys and they were able to experience some things. But then it also did something to me, because I said, hey, what I need to create something like this for my family. And so that got me, that right there I made a decision then that I had to have that passive income and have several streams of that passive income. And so, you know, me and Lo talk about all the time our biggest passive income that we want to create, not just real estate, but we want commercial real estate. You know, it's cool to have 1 or 2 rent houses, but we want quadplexes and apartment complex. Am I right, Lo?
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's the name of the game plan, you know, for us, that passive income, generating multiple streams of income. One thing I realized, Coach, was that what I put into 401k and what I can save and being with the company, let's say 5 years, you kind of multiply and say, where do you see yourself? You look at the projections and seeing where you're at in the next 30 years. And I can tell you that, and most of you, if you're honest and you're humble enough to look at that number, what you'll realize is that it's not enough money. You know, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, even $500,000 is not enough money, because if you're accustomed to living off of $50,000 a year, you know, $500,000, $500,000 is only going to give you 10 years of living. And I know people say, well, you know, you own your house and stuff like that, but you have to generate, you know, passive income. You have to generate a cash flow system. And yes, commercial real estate for us, as we discussed, is that system that we're trying to put in place. And I definitely recommend that people study and look into that, because I look at it like life is the game of Monopoly, and whoever owns the most land on the board is going to win, you know. And so if you keep landing on someone's motel, you're going to run out of cash. So typically, whoever can buy the most land and put hotels on it the fastest ends up having the control and having and end up winning the game. And so, you know, I think that our generation, our people in life, we have been taught to work for money, work for income, rather than generate a cash flow system, so that, you know, you got money coming in, streaming into you monthly. And so, you know, that's definitely one of those pieces there that I wanted to mention. And before we move on to another subject, you know, I'm thinking about Deuteronomy 16:17 in regards to what you said, Lance. And it says that every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which has given you. And so you're absolutely right. So when you are given a blessing, you know, it's your responsibility to share that blessing. When you was talking about the weight loss journey, and so just tying that all in together, you know, I think it's important, man, that people understand that you are blessed, and it's important that you allow that blessing to pour in to other people. So I commend you for that, and I wanted to make sure that I hit on that point.
I appreciate that, Love.
Hey, fellas, let's talk about this passion, man. We talked about it last show. Now, Lance, I'm gonna share with you. I don't know if you know, but I'm writing a book, and I talk about that passion, man. And you know, you hit on it, man. You say, you know, you would do this for free. And you know, one of my passions, I know it's Lowe's passion too, man, is being around youth and giving back youth and impacting lives. And so I'm gonna share this with y'all, Mom. So I got called into a meeting. Had a 6th grade student. His father was there. It was like 3 or 4 teachers, and this young man, you know, I've been working with him all year. He has tremendous talent, athletic. You know, he's a cool guy. But I shared with him some of my experiences, and I was just telling the young man to his passion is sports. And I told him he was a natural born leader. And I was thinking about, and everything started flowing out. And so I'm speaking to him, and the teacher got up and she got up and left. I thought she had to go teach her. Well, she came back, and she was like, Coach, she started talking. She's like, Coach, I had to get up. This is in front of the group. She had to get up because when you were speaking to this young man, tears started coming out. And I thought, and then when I bring this up because I barely can remember what I said to the young man. But all I know, I was passionate and I was sincere with what I was telling him. And like you said, I would do that. I would be in that scenario again and again and again for free. So I want to open up the dialogue and talk about passion, man, and talk about how do you find that passion? You know, is it something that, you know, we dream about, or, you know, are we, you know, constantly praying like, Lord, just please help me find my passion? Where did that come about for you guys? You know, for me, I'm gonna start with myself. For me, it started, you know, when my passion was basketball. You know, I love playing basketball, but I didn't have the work ethic to get me to a higher level. You know, once we went to Hampton and I tried out for the team and I got cut from the team, I realized it was a whole nother level that I was missing. But and then I found my passion in the giving back to youth using basketball and reaching back and giving to the community. And that's where I found my passion at, in coaching and mentoring and during basketball camp, skill development. I found that passion that I spent a lot of time in the gym with these guys for free. And so where do you guys, let's just start with Lance, and then Lo, you kind of share where you find your passion, and you close this out. And you close us out this morning so we can have a great week talking about passion.
Yeah, honestly, I found my passion through trying. Well, first off, through prayer, and being in communication with my father, our father. That's a whole nother story, but that's real personal with me. That's my father. So just everything I do, I pray on it. Father, guide me. Order my steps. How you want me to move. Move how you want me to move. Remove my ego. Move how you feel I should move. Put the words in my mouth. Put the words in my heart, Lord. A constant prayer, constant dialogue with my father. And just trying out a bunch of stuff. Not being afraid to try something. The whole saying, like, I try everything once, of course, we keep that. We could be realistic with that statement, but for a lot of things, it's true. If you're unaware, or if you like to be educated on something, the best thing is to try with an open mind and an open heart. So just trying everything with an open mind, an open and prayerful mind, and an open and prayerful heart, and allowing the Lord to use you. I never knew a passion of mine would be yoga. But I'm on my way to getting my level 1 yoga cert and instructing classes through Fit Nation. Because I love to see inner city kids, inner city youth, 7th and 8th wards of all these different towns and communities learning how to control themselves through breathing, through meditation, through poses that connects themselves with the universe, the sun, that aligns them. I wouldn't have known that if I wouldn't have just kept trying different things with an open heart. So my answer to that, P, would be try things with an open heart, an open mind, and keep praying. Just keep praying.
Yeah, I'll tie in with that. When I think of passion, I think of a divine purpose. There's a reason that your heart desires whatever it is that it desires. When you think of motivation, that runs out. The Atlanta Falcons were motivated to be in the Super Bowl, but they weren't passionate enough to finish it all the way through. They didn't have their reasons to get through the season, to get through their hard times. When the comeback started, they didn't have that passion anymore, and you could tell that they were only motivated, and that runs out. So when you're doing something that you're passionate about, and you identify your divine purpose, then that's what allows you to do what you love to do, and you don't need any rewards, because the reward is in the serving part of it. And Lance hit it on the head. I mean, asking the Lord to go before you, to have your steps ordered, and allow God to basically bless you in order to do the things that you love, man. So that's where you find the passion. You find the passion in your heart, man, what your desires are. And I started thinking about something in between these thoughts, and I was thinking about willpower, and that's what I want to close out with. And so, I talk about this willpower. It's something that cannot be measured. We just witnessed the NFL draft in 2017, and there was a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams out there, and obviously there's about a couple hundred young men who were able to turn their dream into a reality. But there was a couple tweets that went out after that, and one of those guys were Kurt Warner, who's about to get inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, and he said, "I was not called that night or any night on draft day." He was undrafted, and he went from being undrafted and working at a grocery store to getting an opportunity to go get an opportunity to try out for the NFL. And then he had this Hall of Fame career. And when we look at our obstacles. I mean, you can be motivated today, but you can experience some hard times. And so if you're not passionate about what it is that you want, whether it's that career job, whether it's that business to thrive, if you're not passionate about it, the results will show. So you have to be motivated. But your willpower cannot be measured. A man's effort cannot be measured. And so I think that we start thinking about like Buster Douglas, when he got back up when Mike Tyson knocked him out, you start thinking about his willpower. He had a reason to get back up. He had a divine purpose. It was all written already in the book of life. God ordered that day. I mean, it happened because God allowed it to happen. And so, in wrapping all this up, and before we close out, I want our listeners to understand that you have greatness, a greater power within you, that if you can tap into that, Lance talked about it. He talked about decide, make a decision on what it is that you want, and then commit to it. All right? And all of these things are determined by your willpower. Do you have what it takes within you to push through that? So that's what I want to leave with you guys today. Hey, Lance, man, we definitely appreciate you, taking the time out of your day to come speak with us. And I just wanted to say thanks to that, man. I got you on Instagram, and I'll connect with you on Facebook as well. But before we leave, man, thanks a lot. But kind of share with the audience how they can get in contact with you in case our listeners want to try the Herbalife, man. I know that thing. They can access that through your page.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for both of you. Lo, Jacob, thank you for having me on the show. You guys have dropped wisdom and nuggets on me throughout this last half hour. I've been taking notes. I appreciate you both. Anytime, man, anytime. Thank you for the opportunity. Lance _Miller 09 on Instagram, and just Lance Miller.
Lance, thank you again to our listeners. Lance _Miller 09 on Instagram. Go follow him. Low Inspires, Dream Chaser Academy. Hey, guys, y'all have a blessed week. We out.